This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you may have missed this morning. But we also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 12th of November 2021, and I am DK.
And I am Serbia.
And I am AX. In case you missed the headlines, here they are. In the Daily Nation, it's our time. In the Standard, beginning of the end for Mwendwa. In the Star, Raila on Kalonzo turf talks with ex-VP in limbo. And in the People Daily, trouble stalks Ruto hustler cash handouts. We have a three-part criteria that we use to evaluate the headlines. We ask ourselves three questions. Is a headline topical or speculative, repetitive or groundbreaking, thoughtful or just plain lazy? What do you guys think of our headlines today?
Completely lazy, but I was in love with the People Daily, although not very, very inspiring. I think it's late. But in the meantime, we wish Mwendo a good time.
All right, there we have it. Our winning headline is from the People Daily. In the past, we have said that Baba Man is like a rocking chair. He keeps you busy, takes you nowhere. And that has been the story of the 5 times he has run for the presidency. He kept his followers busy, took them nowhere. But after trying for 5 times and taking his followers nowhere, Jacom is set to become the 5th. Or is he? From tear gas Mondays, uprooting the railway, to inventing the science of stone throwing in our politics, the question to Baba Man is this: to be or not to be? Has he changed tact? Once upon a time, the wind and the sun had an argument. It was about who between the two was stronger. The wind claimed that it was stronger because it was ferocious, and the sun claimed that it was stronger because of its sheer heat. As they fought, a traveler passed by wearing a very heavy coat. Then the sun declared to the wind, "Whoever forces the traveler to remove his heavy coat is the strong one." And so the wind offered to go first. With all its might, it blew ferociously at the traveler, angrily tearing his coat. But the more the wind blew, the tighter the traveler held onto his heavy coat. After many aggressive attempts, the wind gave up. Then the sun took over. It began by sending gentle, suggestive rays to the traveler. Then the rays grew warmer and warmer. Slowly, the man unbuttoned his coat and removed his scarf. Then it got very hot. The man had to remove his coat and take shelter under a shade. And this is the story of Baba Man's transformation. In the past, he approached the voter with the ferociousness of the wind. As the wind blew, he invented the science of throwing stones. But the voter held tightly onto his vote. Then Raila, the wind, aggressively began to uproot the railway. But the voter held tight onto his vote. Frustrated, he turned to tear gas Mondays. But the voter held tightly onto his vote. And finally, he swore himself in. But the voter held tightly onto his vote. It was at this moment of dismal failure that Raila, the wind, gave up and did the handshake, and voila! The handshake turned him into the sun. Instead of blowing ferociously at the man with the coat, Jacom learned to seduce the voter with gentle rays of sun. Now the rays are getting warmer and warmer. And slowly, the Gema voter is beginning to unbutton his coat. In fact, he has already removed his scarf. And as the rays get hotter, towards 2022, the Gema voter will remove his coat. But that's not where it ends. Like in this fable, the Gema voter will remove his coat and take shelter under the shade with a ballot box named Baba. What is our point here? The sun won, not because it got the man to remove the coat, but because it directed him to the shade. where the ballot box was. Baba Man finally realized that playing the wind cannot direct the voter to the shade. The wind only keeps him busy, but takes him nowhere. But with the art of gentle seduction, as opposed to ferocious and aggressive populism, he is bound to achieve more. Now, there is a tragic end to this story. William Ruto has assumed the persona of the wind. Only the wind can have 135 meetings in 30 days. And only the wind can reinvent the science of throwing stones. It is called the politics of the rocking chair, the new Ruto mantra. Keep them busy and take them nowhere.
How many of you know what 1 billion shillings looks like? If you took a picture of 1 billion shillings, what would it look like? This question was posed and answered by the late Mzee John Mishoki while trying to explain corruption. According to the old man, if a little boy at the age of 6 started counting from 1, 2, 3 to a billion, he will finish the counting when he is 34 years old. That is how much 1 billion shillings is. Yet Bwana Asifiwe aka William Ruto likes to joke. In the past 1 month, he has given a 250 million shillings to 135 unsuspecting communities. If a 6-year-old boy was to count this money from 1, 2, 3 to a 250 million, the boy will be ready to be circumcised at the age of 13. That's how much a 250 million is. And that is why we are saying that Ruto likes to joke. Let me explain. Once upon a time, there lived a trickster called Abunwasi who lived next to a rich Kikuyu who owned a big sufuria. For years, whenever Abunwasi visited this rich Kikuyu, he salivated at the sufuria, seeing how much water it could hold. But because Abunwasi was poor, he could not afford buying a sufuria. So the only way to get this sufuria was to steal it, but he had to be clever about it. Abunwasi hatched a plan and approached the rich Kikuyu. He convinced him to lend him the sufuria because he had a party. The following morning at 6 a.m., Abunwasi brought the sufuria back to the rich Kikuyu, but with the sufuria having another small sufuria inside it. The Kikuyu asked Abunwasi where the small sufuria had come from. Abunwasi told him the sufuria had given birth to the small sufuria, so it was a baby sufuria. Seeing that he had made profit, the Kikuyu thanked Abunwasi profusely and told him, "You can borrow the sufuria any other time you want." And after a few days, Abunwasi came back, borrowed the sufuria, and returned it with 2 more baby sufurias. Abunwasi told him the sufuria had given birth to twins this time. Now the Kikuyu, with his business mind, saw an opportunity in lending Abunwasi his sufurias. However, one time Abunwasi took the sufuria but took too long to return it. So the Kikuyu decided to go and look for Abunwasi. When Abunwasi saw the Kikuyu, he started crying. The Kikuyu asked Abunwasi why he had not returned the sufuria. Abunwasi, still in tears, looked at the Kikuyu and told him, "Your sufuria died a month ago while in labor." The Kikuyu asked, "How can a sufuria die?" Abunwasi replied, "Everything that gives birth dies." That is how he stole the big sufuria. Dear Kikuyus, there is a political Abunwasi salivating over your sufurias. He is borrowing your sufuria in exchange for harambes, wheelbarrows, and baptizing prostitutes. Your lust for quick profits will make you lose your sufuria to this Abunwasi. And if this Abunwasi becomes president, your sufuria will die by 2023 and Abunwasi will be there to cry with you. Let's go back to the 1 billion Mishoki logic. For the last 8 years, Ruto has been to harambes in Central 200 times, contributing an average of 5 million shillings in each harambe. He has so far contributed a total of 1 billion shillings. But what the Kikuyus don't know is that these contributions are nothing but the borrowing of a sufuria. Today, the sufuria will be returned with 1 baby sufuria. Tomorrow, with twin baby sufurias. And then Ruto will tell you the sufuria died while undergoing labor. and you'll take him nowhere. In the meantime, a 6-year-old boy who started counting the Ruto 1 billion will stop counting at the age of 34, which is 2050. And that is the long game that Ruto is playing with you Kikuyus.
Bwana asifiwe. This week, William Ruto's convoy was stoned in Kisumu. And today we will ask the question, should Raila Odinga apologize on behalf of his Kisumu supporters? Do people even know who Jacob is? Once upon a time, there lived two sneaky and troublesome boys. They were brothers and they had a very beautiful sister. One day, while the boys were in the field looking after cattle, their beautiful sister was attacked and raped by an influential boy from a distant village. The brothers were heartbroken and distraught. More so, after the rapist's father asked to have his son marry their adorable sister. The sneaky brothers were infuriated by this proposal. During negotiations for their sister, the rapist offered to give up everything in order to get the girl. But the two brothers gave only one condition. They demanded that in order to marry their sister, all men from the groom's village had to get circumcised. And because the rapist boy was influential, he convinced his village men to agree to be circumcised, which was against their tradition. Little did they know that this was a trap. After getting circumcised, they retreated to their homes to nurse their wounds. And on the third day of healing, which is the most fragile day, the sneaky brothers raided their village. And because the rapist villagers were too weak and wounded to fight, they were all killed, and the brothers rescued their sisters. And just in case you did not know this story is recorded in the Holy Bible. It is the story of Jacob, his two sons Simeon and Levi, and his adorable daughter called Dinah. We call the brothers sneaky because they had completely upset Jacob's program to return home to a brother he had betrayed named Esau. Jacob was nervous about how Esau was going to receive him after stealing his birthright. And in this condition of nervousness, his teenage boys execute a mischievous scheme of circumcising a whole village of foreigners in the name of revenge. This completely upset Jacob. But when he rebuked the brothers, their response was simple, and they said this: Father, should we have allowed our beautiful sister Dinah to be treated like a prostitute? And this is how we must interpret the stoning of William Ruto in Kondele. Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga have dignified the people of Kisumu. The handshake has revived the Kisumu port. The handshake has built markets for Kisumu women. The handshake has brought water to the people of Siaya. And the handshake has connected the people of Kondele to a bypass and electricity. To Raila Odinga, therefore, your Kondele boys have tasted power and have known dignity with Uhuru Kenyatta and the handshake. And if they threw stones, they did not throw them at William Ruto. They were throwing stones at the indignity of handouts and the indignity of wheelbarrow. Therefore, if Raila Odinga, you apologize. Your brave boys will ask you, but Baba, should we have allowed them to treat our beautiful Kisumu sister like a prostitute?
Wow.
So on a day that we had our winning headlines from the People Daily, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on your TV screens. We are on Pang, free to air, and Go TV. But before I leave, I'll leave you with a Kikuyu proverb that says, if you lose a goat, please do not go searching for the goat with the guy who ate the goat. Enjoy your weekend.